That's right. Thank God for my husband. My husband's on that person. That's why he tells me this. Awesome. Came in handy.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us in this year's 7th annual Purple Day press conference. Today, we are here to kick off Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This morning, you will hear from a variety of different speakers that will discuss what the community can do to prevent domestic violence and assist victims. To start off, we would like to take a moment of silence to honor all the individuals who were killed throughout the state of Texas due to domestic violence. Thank you. On behalf of the Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney, Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez Jr., we would like to thank everyone who is in attendance, virtually and live. We have hopes that everyone can continue to join together to share the knowledge behind domestic violence prevention. Please allow me time to recognize those who are in attendance live and virtually. Live, we have Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney's Office, Domestic Violence Unit Chief Amy Cantu, Felony Division Chief Orlando Esquivel, Victims Unit Director Serena Scamardo, Domestic Violence Unit, Felony Division, Victims Unit, and the Special Crimes Division. We also have Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Eddie Guerra and his staff. Mujeres Unidas Executive Director Estela de Anda, Director of Legal Advocacy and Social Services, Cecilia Matamoya. Texas Council on Family Violence, Director of Prevention, Rita Flores. Texas Office of Court Administration, Domestic Violence Training Attorney, Kim Pachowiak. Domestic Violence Survivor, Nayeli Garcia and her mother. Department of Public Safety, Sergeant Maria Montalvo. Those that are in attendance virtually, BCFS Health and Human Services, Marisa Cano. Rio Grande Valley Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force Executive Board, Marisa Cano. Hidalgo County Family Violence Task Force, Marisa Cano. UTRGV Police Department, Chief Adan Cruz and his staff. Westaco Police Department, Chief Joel Rivera and his staff. Benita Police Department, Chief Roel Permia and his staff. And I apologize, Crime Victim Liaison Dulce Villalobos is here today. Department of Public Safety, Crime Victim Liaison Belinda Taylor. Mission PD, Chief Robert Dominguez and his staff. Rio Grande Valley Empowerment Zone, Program Advocate Joan Garza. The Mercedes Police Department, Chief Roy Quintanilla, and FAR Police Department, Chief Andrew Harvey, and his staff. We apologize for not being able to hold this press conference in person like we normally would. But due to COVID-19 and in accordance with the recommended CDC social distancing guidelines, we felt it would be in everyone's best interest to hold this press conference via Facebook Live. The District Attorney's Office communicates with every victim that contacts our office and collaborates with all community-based programs to provide information and referral. Our advocates have been able to provide the following victim services: court accompaniment, indictment notification, follow-up calls with every victim, crime victim compensation through the Office of the Attorney General, restitution, safety planning, and protective orders. All of this was made possible with the leadership of our Criminal District Attorney, Ricardo Rodriguez Jr., and his continuous support in all of our prevention efforts, in particular with domestic violence. I would like to introduce your Criminal District Attorney, Ricardo Rodriguez Jr.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone who's here present with us, and also to everyone who's with us virtual. Serena, good job in that introduction and in that welcoming. I know that she was a little nervous, but she had a difficult task before her, but she did great. And I'm proud to be here as well, and this special moment and special occasion that's so important, not only for myself, But as you can see behind me, like I said yesterday, there's a sea of purple behind us, and there's many individuals here that have done so much, not only to stop domestic violence, but also many other issues that we have here in Hidalgo County, where we work with so many individuals, so many families, and trying to give the best service that we can here from the District Attorney's Office, along with and in collaboration with so many agencies that Serena just mentioned that are here with us, and those maybe that are not, but that we work so much together in trying to combat and trying to do prevention and trying to do awareness, as much as we can. And with us today, we have some special guests. Again, like Serena mentioned, but I want to mention them again because they took the time to travel, some from afar and some close to here, but they took the time to be here with us and with all of you. Of course, we have Sheriff Eddie Guerra, who's with us, joining us, and again, Sergeant Montalvo from Texas Department of Public Safety. Thank you for being here. We have special guests from the Texas Office of Court Administration, Domestic Violence Training, Attorney, and I'm not even going to pronounce the last name. I do not want to mess it up. But Kim will talk to you briefly and explain to you what she does and why she's here today and these days here in Hidalgo County. Also, we have Rita Flores from Texas Council on Family Violence. That we appreciate Rita also being here with us. Texas Council of Family Violence does so much prevention, so much awareness, does such great work in Austin, and we work and we partner up together very much in making sure that we provide the best victim services that we can. Also, we have from Mujeres Unidas, who's no stranger to us, Estela, that's here with us as well. Thank you, Estela, for being here. Thank you very much. And we have Cecilia, also with us from Mujeres Unidas, who's here with us. Thank you, Cecilia, for being here. Serena mentioned some individuals that are here with us, and she named, some prosecutors, and she named some other individuals in administration. But I have to tell you that a lot of the individuals that are here behind me, like I said yesterday, are a big part of the services that are given, to our community. Serena mentioned some of the duties that our advocates and our administrators have in providing the best services that we can. And let me tell you, they do that and much more. Just for example, last night, we had a group that was out with the sheriff at his National Night Out, and also in Elsa. These are advocates that go set up a table, put out material, and they educate and they give information out to the people who are interested in the information, and bringing awareness to the community out in Elsa and out in Hidalgo. So those are just some of the duties that our advocates do here at our office, and we're very appreciative of everything that they do day in, day out. And to give you an example, just like I said yesterday, from 2015 to 2021, we've had 10,000 protective orders that have been reviewed. And that's by this group. That's what they do day in, day out. We've had 62,000 victims serviced, victims that we've had contact with from 2015 to 2021. We've had over 120,000 services provided, as Serena mentioned, some of them from 2015 to 2021. So we're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue working with the community, with the public, and we understand what our role is and what our responsibility is. And when we talk about domestic violence, our main goal is to stop it. Our main goal is to combat it and make sure that everyone has a healthy life, a healthy relationship, be at the workplace, be at work, be at school. That is what we strive for every day. And we're going to continue doing that as much as we can, and collaborating with every agency out there to make sure that individuals, that are citizens, our families get the message that there is help, there are services, there is law enforcement that's available to help. Some people say nobody helps, nobody wants to do anything. I just gave you numbers, where people are coming to us, where people are saying, I want the help and I need the help, and we're giving it to them. This is a formula that it's needed, much needed to stop domestic violence. You know, I was having a conversation with my first assistant, Michael J. Garza, was here, and we were talking about that, you know, this month is also cancer awareness, which is a disease that has been very, very ugly in the sense of what it's done to family members, you know, what it's done to individuals. And we've had, you know, doctors and experts trying to figure out that right medicine, you know, to combat cancer. And they've come, you know, so far and in the sense of finding, you know, some help. And domestic violence is no different. You know, unfortunately, it is here today. It exists as we speak here today. And we need to find a way to stop it. And I was telling Michael J, the formula is right. It's right in front of us. There's so many things that we're doing together. There's so many things that are out there that are there that individuals have the resources to be able to combat it. If you're a family member, if you're a friend who knows that someone's living in domestic violence, well, we need to educate you. We need to tell you how to do it to make sure to protect these individuals before it's too late. No, the conversation should be a protective order is not going to do anything for you. I just told you the numbers of protective orders that we have taken in and we have filed. That has helped individuals. That is so, unfortunately, it's not for some that it has helped and it breaks our heart, but we're going to continue to do what we can to make sure that we offer those services. And again, I know I said that we had some special guests with us today, but we have some special people that are with us today from our office and other agencies that do such great work and are going to continue to do the best that we can to be able to protect our communities, to be able to protect our families as much as possible. And to that person who's committing domestic violence, to the abuser, to the aggressor, we have great prosecutors that have prosecuted cases many times, and we've put those people away for a long time. We have no problem doing that. But we can't wait for the crime to come to us. We got to go to it. We got to go to them. We got to go to those who are in need. And that's why we have our advocates back here and a lot of agencies that do that work. And I compliment them for it. And as long as I'm the DA here, we're going to continue doing that. We're going to push as hard as we can. And not only during October, but throughout the whole year, as you can see, to the numbers that I just explained to you. So thank you again for being with us. Please educate yourself. Please don't be that person that says, well, I can't help my friend. I can't help my family member, because many have. And we have to continue in striving to protect our very own here in Hidalgo County. So thank you again for being with us. We have some other guests that have some words for you. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Next, I would like to introduce Sheriff Eddie Guerra. The Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office mission is to provide a sense of security for the people by protecting life and property, reducing the opportunity for crime and disorder, enforcing the law, and providing other police-related services as required by the community in a manner consistent with the values of a free society. Sheriff Guerra's core values are integrity, pride, and community. Under his leadership, his office reaffirms their commitment to community service and to the pursuit of excellence. Sheriff Guerra. Sorry.
Good morning and welcome. I want to start off by thanking the district attorney for inviting me here to speak. I also want to thank him for his leadership in this endeavor. Obviously, by his voice, you can hear that he has a lot of passion for this cause of domestic violence. You know, the actions of one individual can ruin the lives of many in a single moment. The trauma, the physical scars, and the financial instability that a victim of domestic violence face follow them long after the abuse has stopped. The transgressions against the basic human right to be free from violence is committed too often. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The month of October is dedicated to bring light to this darkness. Different branches in our community, from local government, nonprofit organizations, and community groups, come together in acts of outreach and awareness events. Our sole mission is to educate our community and to empower those facing this violence with the resources they need to escape. Here at the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, we implemented a program a few years ago that has proven to be successful through time. We've developed a domestic abuse deterrence team that continues to fight against domestic violence to this day. Our team consists of seasoned deputies who examine domestic dispute reports, and they reach out to the victims to evaluate their situation. In working with the families, the deputies find resources the family needs. These resources can range from marital counseling, assistance with a utility bill, to drug and alcohol counseling. Our deputies are able to determine the underlying issues that cause stress in the home, which leads to arguments that escalate over time and eventually becoming violent. In cases where an aggressor is not willing to seek help or counseling, our deputies empower the victims with the resources to escape the violence. Our team also consists of our crime victims liaison, who assist the victims with receiving compensation for their medical bills, relocating, and other financial responsibilities that the victim are often left with. Our program aims to connect victims to resources for their financial needs. This empowers our victims to rebuild their lives around community resources rather than an abusive relationship as a means for financial stability. Our program is grounded on the notion that if the victim can find help for their financial burdens, they are more likely not to return to the abuser. In a lot of cases, a victim feels that there's no other way to survive financially and provide for their families on their own, so they're forced to stay in an abusive relationship. Since creating this program, we've been able to see a decrease in the amount of reoccurring domestic disputes, calls for service, and reoccurring assaults on victims. We want our victims to know that they're not alone and they have a community of support behind them. We want our survivors to seek justice and restore their lives to enjoy a healthy and full life. In this month of October, we're joined together in the honorary color of purple to stand with the victims that are still finding their escape plan, to support our survivors, and to honor the lives of victims who did not make it out of their abuse. Again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rick, for inviting me.
Thank you, Sheriff Guerra. Next, our guest speaker is Ms. Estela Vianda, Executive Director of Mujeres Unidas, located in Hidalgo County. Mrs. Vianda has been involved in the movement of domestic violence for over 40 years. She has been instrumental in our communities to establish resources and programs to assist domestic violence victims. Mujeres Unidas is the only shelter for family violence victims in our county and are open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We thank them for their commitment and dedication. Ms. Vianda?
Buenos días. Por muchos años hemos trabajado en la comunidad sobre la violencia doméstica. For many years, as Serena stated, we have been in the community working against domestic violence. We were in the community back in 1978 when it was not popular to talk about domestic violence. Nobody wanted to talk about it. So through the years, we've paired up with many groups. As y'all can see today, it's gratifying to see all of these people that are involved in helping victims. Mujeres Unidas is a small organization, but through the years, we have evolved not only to provide direct services, but also to provide counseling for victims that are traumatized. During the month of October every year, we hold all kinds of events to increase awareness about violence in our community. Intimate partner violence, domestic violence, family violence, whatever you call it, it all means someone is getting hurt. So we come together as a group and we can accomplish so much as a group. When you are alone, you can do little. And with a group together, you can do much. And that's what is happening in our community. And it's obvious by all the entities that are here today, speaking out and reaching out to our community and saying there is help. You are not alone. There is help if you're in a situation in a violent relationship. Every year we hold a vigil for those women that did not survive. Sometimes it's not women that die in these incidents. Sometimes there's other family members, children, and sometimes the perpetrator also kills himself. But nonetheless, all of this has an impact, a traumatic impact on all those families. The person that died was somebody's sister, somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's friend. 71% of intimate partner violence are females. But we know that there's also other victims that are not female. But 71% for intimate partner violence are females, women and girls. Where we should be safe in our home, children are witnessing the abuse. Can you imagine the impact on a child seeing their parent being abused? You carry that forward for many years. We do counseling and we deal with some of the traumatic effects. Years later, they can still remember that first incident, how their mother looked the next day, or how a friend at work looked the next day after being abused. I spoke to a woman last week. I belong to an organization of women called Zanta. It's an international women's organization that do projects for women around the world to support women. And a friend of mine that's in that group called me and said, I have a housekeeper and she is deathly afraid. She was in a relationship. She got out of the relationship. She's now being stalked. He's got a gun. She's deathly afraid and she doesn't know what to do. I said, let me talk to her. She was there. I talked to her and I said, what do you want to do? She said, well, I want to be safe. I'm afraid. He knows where I work. He knows the different houses where I keep house. He drops me off, so he knows where I go to work. So these women that she works for came up with a plan. They would give her rides to work and they would hide her car if they had to in their garage. And I said, what do you want to do? She said, I want to be safe. I said, then you need to seek a protective order. Are you ready to do that? And she said she did. And so she's working with one of our legal advocates and will soon be at her district attorney's office seeking help. Last year, according to the Department of Public Safety, we had 5,867 reported calls regarding family violence in our county. We also had 547 sexual assaults. Despite the pandemic and all the challenges that we have had to face since last year, we continue to provide services at Mujeres Unidas. Last year, we provided shelter for 148 victims of family violence, intimate partner violence, domestic violence, whatever you want to call it. 148 traumatized victims that came to seek a refuge and a safe haven. Volunteers and staff responded to 2,384 hotline calls on our crisis line. And right now we're seeking volunteers for the hotline. So if you're interested, it starts October the 12th. Call us at our office and we can give you the details. We really need help on the hotline. It is 24 hours. And we need bilingual people that can be on the hotline. So if you know of anyone that would be interested, let them know that we're going to start the training soon. We also provide a lot of counseling. And in recent years, we've really focused on developing our trauma-informed counseling program. Because it is a traumatic thing that happens, not only to the victim, but to the whole family. And so we're focusing on how do we give tools to people to be able to recover from that traumatic event. I guess a message today to send out to our community from all of us here, that there is help. You are not alone. There is help. If you're in a relationship where there's violence, you can receive help. There are resources available. There is laws for the protection of people that are victims. Don't wait until something happens or you may be hurt, or even more than that, or is someone in the family. Seek help. As an individual, all of us can do this also. We can encourage someone that you may know that's in a relationship where there is violence. Encourage them, but more than that, tell them where to go to seek help. Call law enforcement. Get a protective order from our district attorney. Come to Mujeres Unidas. There is help and you're not alone. As a community, the message that we send is it is not okay to commit acts of violence. It will not be tolerated. As a community, we will do everything in our power to be able to address the needs and to help someone that seeks help. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diana. I would like to formally introduce Kimberly Pachowiak, Domestic Violence Training Attorney for the Texas Office of Court Administration located in Austin, Texas. Ms. Pachowiak received her BA in Criminal Justice in 1989 from UTSA and her JD from St. Mary's University School of Law in 1992. Prior to her arrival at OCA, Ms. Pachowiak prosecuted family violence cases for 20 years, combined with at the Bexar County District Attorney and the San Antonio City Attorney's Office. Ms. Pachowiak implemented and supervised the family violence prosecution program at the San Antonio Municipal Court. She is a T-Cole certified who has been training law enforcement officers, attorneys, and judges since 1997 on the issue of domestic violence for many local, state, and national organizations, including the San Antonio Police Training Academy, the National District Attorneys Association, the Texas Center for the Judiciary, Texas Municipal Courts Education Center, the Texas District and County Attorneys Association, the Texas Criminal Justice Information Users Group, and the Conference on Crimes Against Women. Mrs. Pachowiak?
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. I want to thank the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office, Mr. Rodriguez, and all of these fabulous people behind me. Having been a prosecutor for 20 years, I feel like I'm home. These are my people. I am so pleased to be here and to talk to y'all a little bit about a recent project that we started at OCA. But first, let's talk a little bit about protective orders very quickly. And we've all heard this phrase, but it is often said that a protective order is just a piece of paper, right? If we all had a dime for the number of times we've heard that, we would be very rich people. And that is true. Last time I checked, they are not bulletproof. They are not made of Kevlar. However, they are often the key that starts the engine of enforcement, safety, protection, and accountability. In 2015, Monica Deming of Odessa, Texas, was killed by her ex-boyfriend. At the time of her murder, she had no idea that the ex-boyfriend was the subject of not one, but 2 prior protective orders. All she knew at that time when she fled was that he was becoming more and more violent toward her and her young son. By the time she started taking steps to protect herself, it was too late. Monica's law was passed in 2019 by the state legislature. And basically what it does is it authorized the Office of Court Administration to create a system so that protective orders and information about protective orders becomes more available to not only the people who need to enforce those orders, law enforcement, but extended that available information to prosecutors' offices and to the advocates that work for prosecutors and law enforcement agencies and to other courts across the state of Texas. This level of access to information has never been available until we launched this program in a year ago in October of 2020. In addition, there is a public-facing facet to this registry. And what that is, it is accessed through a website. It is called Topics, topics.txcourts.gov. And what that is, it allows very limited information to be available to be seen by the public about certain protective orders. That certain protective orders are going to be those permanent orders that were obtained with notice of a hearing to the respondent, to the person that was the subject of the order, and an opportunity to be heard. And once those due process requirements have been fulfilled and the order is issued, then those orders can be seen on the public site, but only with the written consent by the protected party. It is important to keep in mind the written consent by the protected party. If a protected party is too nervous, too scared, feels threatened, does not feel comfortable with putting even that limited information out into the world, this registry and this law basically puts the power in their hands. And that we all agree, and all of us that have worked in this field for the many years that we have, know that having those protected people, those survivors, have that power is everything. One of the reasons, even before the protective order registry came into being, one of the reasons many survivors would not seek protective orders, would not seek help, would not call the police, would not tell anybody about what happened, was because they felt, oh my gosh, that's going to be public record and it's going to be out into the world. Rest assured, if you or someone you know is seeking a protective order, has sought a protective order, the only way that that information is going to go onto the public website is if you specifically request it. As of this writing yesterday, I actually was able to get into my system and I checked. We have currently over 52,000 orders in the protective order registry that have been entered since mid-September of last year. Of those, the great majority of those are those magistrate's orders of emergency protection. And those are those orders that are issued after someone is arrested, but before they another 7,600 are temporary ex parte protective orders. And those are those interim orders in which there is an order done because they have applied for a protective order, but the final hearing is not here yet. And so it protects that person during that time, but there hasn't been full due process yet. The rest, over 5,900, are those permanent protective orders that I discussed. And those are the type of orders that can be allowed to be seen, certain information on the website. I will tell you at this time, though, there are only 55 in which the survivor has opted to allow public access to some limited information. And again, that usually has everything to do with they are not in a place where they feel safe to have that information out into the world. When someone goes to that public website, the orders that are there, they can search by the name of the respondent. They can search by the county where the order was issued. What they will see, if they find it, is going to be the name of the respondent, the county in which they reside, the year of their birth, not their date of birth, the date it was issued, and the date that it expires. And then even if it expires, it stays on that public site of the registry. And that is so that people can see, okay, this is an issue that has happened in the past. On the protect side, the part where law enforcement, courts, and prosecutors and advocates that are part of those organizations, what this also does is it lets people see, those folks, only those folks, not the public, see applications, see information about the orders themselves, and also see for the first time ever actual images of the signed orders. And what this does is increases the makes it quicker to be able to act on those orders. So law enforcement agencies, law enforcement officers who contact dispatch and say, hey, I need to check and see if this order that I hear about I see on TCIC is valid. They can check the registry. And if it's in there, they know that that has been entered within 24 hours of when that order was issued, and it was entered by the court itself, which means that is the validation that they need. They will also be able to see the actual order, which is very new for the state of Texas. At this time, it is important to keep in mind that although I'm so thankful for October Domestic Violence Awareness Month, that we spotlight the issue. We want to spotlight the issue. We want to spotlight the plight of our survivors and their families. But we also want to keep in mind that I've talked to people all over the state, judges, lawyers, law enforcement, and so many folks still tell me things like, oh, well, I don't really know anybody that's going through that or has ever gone through that. Trust me, you do. You may not think so, but you do. And the more that we can be open and let folks know that we are here for them and want to help them get set up all across the state of Texas, and all of these folks behind me in Hidalgo County are here for you and want to help. So spotlighting domestic violence is super important, but we also have to be really, really careful with spotlighting the survivors themselves unless and until they're ready, which is why we have this balanced approach to this protective order registry. If you need anything, please reach out. Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, I will be broadcasting live from the DA's office conference room, a webinar, and it is specifically more about the protective order registry. It is multidisciplinary, but I will be able to give lots of resources regardless of what justice personnel's role is. If it's a clerk, if it is law enforcement, it is a prosecutor's office, if it's advocates, how you can help, how you can be involved, how you can access the information. I was also very pleased to talk to the district clerk's office yesterday when I was here and do some review and updates with some of that on their information as well. So I've been really busy here in Hidalgo County, but I'm super happy to be here and very thankful for the invitation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Pachowiak. Up next, I would like to call forward Rita Flores, the Director of Prevention at the Texas Council on Family Violence, located in Austin, Texas. Ms. Flores has been a part of TCFV since 2014 and shares their idea of honoring those who lost their lives, celebrating those who survived, and supporting those that still struggle. Ms. Flores' approach is grounded in love and healing and the belief that all individuals deserve to live in a safe community where they can thrive. Ms. Flores?
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you to the district attorney for the invitation to be here this morning. And thank you to Stella Deanda. She has been a member of the anti-violence movement for many years, and for many of us, we hold her in high regard, and we're grateful for all of her work that she's offered to the movement for all these years. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a time to connect and unite individuals and organizations in their efforts to end domestic violence. And it is a privilege to be here today, standing alongside members of Hidalgo County who work tirelessly to advocate and support victims of crime in their community. The representation here symbolizes the kinds of community collaborations and partnerships that are key to safer communities, survivor healing and justice, and domestic violence prevention. Each year, the Texas Council on Family Violence documents victims of domestic violence homicides to honor those who have lost their lives and to inform our work and to change the culture that minimizes intimate partner abuse. I'm honored to represent our dedicated staff to share their findings of the report with you today. In 2020, 228 Texas women and men were killed by a current or former intimate partner. This is the highest number ever recorded since the first publication of the Honoring Texas Victims report. Of those 228 victims, 183 were killed by their male partners. 40 were killed by their female partners. And 1 woman and 4 men were killed by their same-sex partners. In addition, 31 family members, friends, and/or bystanders were killed during the commission of these homicides. The youngest victim was 14. The oldest victim was 90. The victim who had died at 14 played volleyball and loved to make TikTok videos with her friends. These were members of our community. They were cherished by their loved ones, and it is our commitment to lift them up and stay committed to prevent further loss of life. In 2020, we are reporting an increase of 23% from 185 deaths in 2019. Community disasters, whether it's a natural disaster like Winter Storm Uri or a public health disaster like COVID-19, exacerbate the risk for domestic violence survivors. The stay-at-home orders adopted to contain the spread of COVID-19 had a profound effect on domestic violence victims and survivors across the country. Many were suddenly trapped inside with abusive partners and without the emotional and physical support of community networks like teachers, healthcare providers, and faith leaders. All the individuals who would have normally seen a red flag and offered support were diminished. We know that isolation is a tactic of abuse to maintain power and control, and the isolation of the pandemic was used by people who abuse their partners and families. Those who support domestic violence survivors across the state knew from March 2020 that events of the year would mean that survivors would face more barriers to seeking help. As the weeks and months wore on, survivors reported that violence was more frequent and more severe. Calls to law enforcement increased in the year after the pandemic, and lethal risk increased with law enforcement reporting an increase in the number of firearms involved in these calls. You will find the narratives that accompany each of these cases available on our website at tcfe.org. As you read them, you will likely notice the following trends. Leaving is one of the most dangerous times in an abusive relationship. The moments and weeks around a survivor's decision to end a relationship are critical to window to enhance safety. Of the victims in 2020, 45% of the women had made attempts to leave their relationship or end the abuse through police reports or protective orders. Abusive partners, particularly men, often escalate their abuse and violence to maintain control maintain control over their partners. If you see red flags, if you're worried about your safety or your loved ones, please know that you have a community with dedicated advocates available to support you. The intersection of domestic violence and firearms is deadly for individuals, families, law enforcement, and communities. In 2020, homicide perpetrators in a report used a firearm as a weapon and 2 times more than all other forms of weapons combined. In fact, in the last decade, the number of firearm-related domestic violence homicides has nearly doubled. This is a troubling trend and not the trajectory we want to see in our state. TCFE stands ready to support community leaders in Texas counties and courts to enforce firearm laws that prohibit convicted family violence offenders and violent respondents of protective orders from possessing firearms. The Honoring Texas Victim Report is a tragic reminder of the impact of domestic violence. The individuals who lost their lives in 2020 are our neighbors. Our hope is that as we reflect on these lives lost, we can move from viewing domestic violence as a private matter to a community issue, one that requires all of us to raise awareness and support victims. And as we reflect with sadness and reverence for each of these lives lost, we want to underscore the message that domestic violence is knowable, predictable, and preventable. The Honoring Texas Victim Report allows us to see where the problems lie, so we can better address survivor safety and prevent further loss of life. This makes our community safer for all. To anyone concerned about their relationship or a loved one, we want you to know that you are not alone. Programs like Mujeres Unidas have advocates who can help you make a plan to get safety. If you do not know how to help a loved one, if you want to be part of the solution to preventing domestic violence in your community, and you don't know where to start, I encourage you to reach out to them to learn more. They know where the needs are, and they can help you identify how to use your skills and talents to end domestic violence in this community. And finally, to the advocates and community partners who serve domestic violence survivors 365 days of the year, thank you. Thank you for your unyielding support and care that you offer our communities. This past year and a half have challenged the work that you do in unimaginable ways, and yet you have stood firm in your commitment to creating a safer Texas. We see you and we thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. Next, we have Amy Bayona Cantu, the Domestic Violence Unit Chief. Chief Cantu has been part of the Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney's Office for the past 16 years and was appointed her current position in September of 2020. Under the guidance of Chief Cantu, the Domestic Violence Unit has made a tremendous amount of progress in assisting victims, in particular, those who have suffered domestic violence. Chief Cantu strives to raise awareness while continuing to prosecute and contribute her dedication to protective order applicants. Chief Cantu.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our 7th Annual Purple Day Conference. I would like to begin by recognizing our District Attorney, Ricardo Rodriguez Jr., for his unbelievable leadership. He created the Domestic Violence Unit, the Special Crimes Division, and the Victims Unit in 2015. He is helping to step up our efforts across all of our relevant agencies. I would also like to thank our staff, advocates, and our investigators who are behind us, and prosecutors as well, for all the hard work and dedication they provide victims during difficult times. Through our work, we have spoken to many survivors who have been in an abusive relationship. I would also like to thank all our law enforcement agencies, some of them who are present with us today, our community service agencies who work together on a daily basis for victims of domestic violence, and everyone else who is present today for the work that you are doing to stop domestic violence and help survivors. Domestic violence is a black cloud on society that has affected many individuals, families, and communities. I would like to address the grave issues of domestic violence by describing it. Domestic violence can be described as the power misused by one person to control another. The violence can take the form of physical assault, psychological abuse, financial abuse, and/or sexual assault. The frequency of the violence can be on or off, occasional, or chronic. Reasons for domestic violence can be a toxic relationship, money problems, conflict in custody issues, jealousy, or drugs and alcohol abuse. Abuse may begin with behaviors that may be easily dismissed or downplayed, such as name-calling, threats, or distrust. Abusers may apologize for their actions or try to convince the person they are abusing that they do these things out of love or care. However, violence and control always intensifies over time with the abuser, especially when the victim is trying to leave that relationship. What may start out as something that was first believed to be harmless can escalate into something such as control and abuse. Some examples of abusive tendencies include, but are not limited to, telling the victim that they can never do anything right, showing jealousy of the victim's family and friends, embarrassing or shaming the victim with put-downs, controlling every penny spent in the household, looking at or acting in ways that scare the person they are abusing, dictating how the victim dresses or wears their hair, stalking the victim or monitoring the victim's every move, telling the victim that they are a bad parent, or threatening to hurt, kill, or take away their children, intimidating the victim with guns, knives, or other weapons, pressuring the victim to have sex when they don't want to, pressuring or forcing the victim to use alcohol or drugs, and preventing the victim from working or attending school. So we need to ask ourselves today, what can be done? We must bring this subject out into the open and talk about it. The way to fight is to speak. Take your stand today and make your life a healthy life, and teach your loved ones to strive to make their own future safe. We will all benefit from building a society which will simply not tolerate domestic violence any longer. We ask that all individuals who are suffering from domestic violence find help. Phone a relative so you can stay in a safe place, and contact your local authorities to ask for help. For anonymous confidential help available 24/7, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233, or you can call Mujeres Unidas, who also has a hotline available at 1-800-580-4879. Together, we can all help in domestic violence. Thank you.
We thank you all for your patience. In 1995, Kimberly A. Collins wrote Remember My Name, a poem that has been used by Domestic Violence Awareness Month observances to memorialize victims that have lost their lives to the horrific epidemic of domestic violence. During the 2010 National Call for Unity, as part of the kickoff to Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Ms. Collins recited the poem in the hopes that through spoken words, we will never forget the names or the lives of those lost to domestic violence. That we should continue to heal through our shared connections and experiences, and that we shall remain committed in efforts to end violence in our homes, our families, and communities. Lastly, allow me to introduce Nayeli Garcia, the domestic violence survivor, as she recites the Remember My Name poem. Ms. Garcia.
Thank you. Morning, thank you for having me here and doing this poem. Remember My Name by Kimberly Collins. When you remember my walk upon this earth, look not into my steps with pity. When you taste the tears of my journey, notice how they feel my footprints, not my spirit, for that remains with me. My story must be told, must remain in conscious memory, so my daughters won't cry my tears or follow my tortured legacy. Loving is a tricky thing. If it doesn't come from a healthy place, if loving doesn't first practice on self, it will act like a stray bullet, not caring what it hits. You may say, maybe I should have loved him a little less. Maybe I should have loved him a little more. Maybe I should have not believed he would never hit me again. All those maybes will not bring me back, not right his wrong. My life was not his to take. As your eyes glance my name, understand once I breathed, walked, loved, just like you. I wish for all who glance my name to know love turned fear, kept me there. Love twisted to fear, kept me in a chokehold, cut off my air, blurred my vision. I couldn't see how to break free. I should have told my family. I should have told my friends. I should have got that CPO before the police let him go. But all those should-haves can't bring me back when I lied so well, to cover the shame, to hide the signs. If my death had to show what love isn't, if my death had to show that love shouldn't hurt, if my death had to make sure another woman told a friend instead of holding it in, if my death reminds you how beautiful, how worthy you are, if my death reminds you to honor all you are daily, then remember my name. Shout it from the center of your soul. Wake me in my grave. Let me know my living was not in vain. I'm going to go ahead and share a few words in Spanish as well. I'm a living sample of what a survivor of domestic violence can look, and that's thanks to my mother for her decisions. Gracias a mi madre, yo soy un ejemplo de lo que se puede ver una sobreviviente en vivo. Gracias al sacerdote que nos refirió a Mujeres Unidas. Gracias a Mujeres Unidas por sus servicios. Salvation Army, también hagamos servicios de Salvation Army. Con orgullo lo digo y lo comparto el día de hoy. Hemos pasado por muchas cosas a través de los años, pero gracias a la valentía de mi madre que está aquí el día de hoy, es que yo puedo estar aquí compartiendo esta historia a través de todos nosotros como familia. Como este poema dice, está en inglés, pero básicamente es un resumen de cómo a veces el compartir puede dar realmente impactar y dar una diferencia en este mundo, no solamente para las personas que quieren apoyar, pero también para las personas que están pasando por algo similar. A veces solamente toma compartir un link de Google, una dirección, un número de teléfono para que podamos agarrar los servicios. So tengan eso en mente, no se necesita un bachillerato para poder ayudar a alguien. Todos solamente con las ganas podemos hacerlo. So nuevamente gracias a Mr. Ricardo Rodríguez y el departamento por invitarme. Thank you all for inviting me and God bless everybody.
Thank you, Nari, and for the poem and for the beautiful words. Thank you for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the press conference, and I know that it's taken some time, but again, we had some important information that we wanted to share with all of you, some important people also that came from afar to be present with us. And again, I can't say enough of our people, the DA's office, our advocates, our crime victims unit, all the individuals that you see here behind me again. We're so proud of the work, day in, day out, and they take the time to take a phone call, to listen to the person, to listen to their needs, those are our responsibilities, and they do a good job of it. So when I hear out there that, someone didn't take the call or that they didn't like the information that was given, I can tell you that all these advocates, they strive to do good work. They strive to be professional. They strive to treat people with respect every day and integrity. And that's what we see from them doing day in, day out. So again, I want to thank them for all the great work that they do day in, day out. And we're very proud of all that they do. So again, to the public, please be involved. You can also make a difference in protecting victims who are out there, individuals who are going through domestic violence. So I challenge you to be part of the formula that you heard of here today. And please protect your loved ones, your families, and your friends. So thank you again for your time. God bless all of you. Thank you.